Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to episode 379 of the Spearhead Sundays podcast, the first episode in over a year that has been late. That's actually a pretty big achievement. Now, I know what you're going to say, Spearhead Sundays, hey, man, I tell you what, all right? I'm pulling a card that I never thought I would have to pull in my life, and God forbid you ever have to pull this card, all right? Sorry that I didn't release your free podcast. A 3-year-old in my family got brain cancer, all right? I was a little bit sad. And I didn't feel very funny. So if you're upset about that, well, I didn't get my podcast. Yeah, it was a tough week, all right? I'm allowed to be a little bit late with your free fucking podcast, all right? I was a little bit sad and stressed. It's been a tough time for my family, but we're here. Little bit of an update about Polly, and again, I'll probably delete this from the episode whenever they decide to do that, because it's, we don't want her to be known as this person forever. But you guys really rallied around. My family donated a bunch of money to the GoFundMe that we raised. I think they've raised close to $100,000, which is unbelievably amazing. Polly had a 14-hour brain surgery. The GoFundMe link is in the description. She had a 14-hour brain surgery. Went well. She's at home now, which is amazing. But she still has chemo and radiation ahead of her, and that will be obviously very tough on her and the family, and that's why we're raising money, so that with all of the other stuff that they have to worry about, they won't have to worry about that. So that's in the description. Thank you so much, you guys. I've been getting so many messages of people like putting in $5, $10, and it's every little bit helps. And thank you very much. And I hope that excuse is good enough for you. All right, sorry, I'm pulling a 3-year-old with a brain tumor card. All right, and it's not a missed episode. It's late. The streak continues. I said, go back to 2024, idiot, and listen. At the start of 2024, I said I wasn't going to miss a single episode. And then because I'm smarter than you, I gave myself a caveat. I said some of them will be late because sometimes I travel. All right, now this reason I think we can all agree is a little bit better than, I had a long flight, so I was sleepy, all right? I was sad. So, yeah. Look. Anyway, moving on. The Belle Gibson stuff has been hilarious. We've got the Women's Day article here. We've got it right next to the Warhammer world. That was awesome. I've not been back into the IGA. I assume that I won't be allowed back in there for a long time, because look, I feel like I made it a big problem. I got someone in the comment section. I don't know how true this is, but if I were a Women's Day journalist, I would 100% print it, because someone said it, so it must be true. Someone in the comment section said that they worked at an IGA in Frankston, and that signs were posted up in the bathrooms and the staff rooms saying, do not talk to the media, because every single IGA in the area was being swarmed with journalists and bombarded with phone calls. We also heard that I think the head office of IGA was scrambling to find anyone under the name of Belle or Mel or Keelan that worked at any IGA in Victoria. So that's very funny. What else happened? There's a bunch of stuff that didn't make the video, and a bunch of behind the scenes stuff. Think of it like a director's commentary of the Hoax that we put up on Patreon. There's a bunch of funny stuff, but I'm stoked with how the video's been going, and oh my God, what a big couple of weeks. I've had a bunch of amazing things and a bunch of horrible things. It was like the most awful coincidence. Like here I am with Keelan making this like hilarious, funny video about this awful woman who lied about brain cancer. And we're both going, the whole time, the more we looked at Belle Gibson and her lie, and then also the mainstream media being complicit in her lie by putting her on TV without vetting her story fucking at all, right? The media was complete. The media likes to be like, oh, we uncovered this scam artist. It's like, no, you guys like just took it hook, line, and sinker and fucking believed her. All right, you guys are actually complicit in the whole scam. You helped her make all that money, and then you also helped advance her lies that fucking harmed people. I can guarantee you, this is like pre-internet social media that we know today. I guarantee you, people fucking watched her story, didn't remember who Belle was, and then got this idea in their heads that fucking veggies is better than chemotherapy. Right? So anyway, here's Keelan and me going, how the fuck could anyone lie about brain cancer? And then that exact thing hits my family. It was the most awful fucking coincidence. So all these like media, members of the media that are like upset that I fucking tricked them into running fake stories. It's like, you guys are the people that make these scam artists fucking famous, and then you tear them down and act like you're heroes. And then when in the process of you tearing them down, you fucking pay them money. So you're not really tearing them down. You're financially rewarding them again for their scam. And then pretending like you're holding them accountable. You know, 60 Minutes, when they first uncovered that she was a liar, they paid her money to do that interview. Who knows how much? Because I imagine it was done. It was under many, many NDAs. But like, some sources say 40 grand, some say 100. So it was potentially somewhere in that range. And I know for a fact that casting directors are trying to give her $500,000. So if you see this woman on TV, you just know that whoever fucking gets to interview her paid her $500,000 or close to. And it's just fucking gross, you know? The media rewarding eternally this scam artist and future scam artists and pretending like they're on the right side of things. We've heard that A Current Affair are absolutely fucking furious with us. Oh, sorry for fucking blowing your cover and for exposing the fact that Belle Gibson lives in Frankston, so we fucking blew your lead. That's what all these organizations are really upset about. They're not upset that we tricked them into looking silly by posting a fucking fake story. They're actually upset because we're the ones that figured out that she lived in Frankston, and now that's blown wide open, and it makes their job harder because now they're all fighting with each other trying to get their finder's fee for the fucking exclusive $500,000 that they want to give this scam artist. While in the process, they'll probably ruin her kid's life by fucking exposing where they live and what they do and blowing her up and probably making her lose whatever job she has, if she has one, ruin her kid's life. It's like such a fucking shit thing. What should happen to this woman is the government should actually do their fucking job and make sure she pays her fine. Because that's another thing. You know, we heard, and again, we go into this more detail in the behind the scenes Patreon thing, but we heard that Consumer Affairs reached out to Women's Day and then tried to contact Keelan to find out where she worked to make her pay her fine. It's like, is that how you guys are making sure justice is being done? Reading fucking Women's Day, like, what, 15 years after she was fined $500,000 and then being like, oh, maybe we should actually make her fucking pay her fine now that she has a job at an IGA. Are you fucking dumb? I'm the bad guy, according to all of these fucking institutions that reward the scam artist, don't punish the scam artist, give the scam artist even more money, help the scam artist pull off the scam, and then pretend like they're the heroes when really they're giving more money to the scam artist. I'm the bad guy because I made you guys look, because I showed what you guys do. I didn't make you look stupid. I told you a lie and you printed it because you didn't do your research. And even worse than that, most of these fucking organizations that printed the story knew it was bullshit, but they printed it because they wanted to print it first. They printed lies that they knew were lies because they thought someone else would print the lies first. And that's the news that runs the fucking world that we all look at and we all get sucked in by and believe. Is just fucking dumb journalists running around trying to beat other dumb journalists to be the first one to tell the fucking lie for money. And I'm the bad guy because I'm honest about the lie after it gets printed. God. Sorry. This is why I didn't do the podcast fucking 3 days ago because I wouldn't be laughing at all while yelling at all this stuff. I've been going for walks, bro. You ever get so upset you go for a walk? A walk is good though, man. Like a walk is fucking great. A solo muttering walk. That's a great mental health tip. If you go on a mutter walk, have a lovely stroll in beautiful weather and just fucking say all the dark shit in your head out loud, but not too loud. Not too loud. See, say what you like about crackheads, but they've got the muttering walk down to a science. That's all they do. Sometimes they don't even do the walk bit. They just stand and stare and mutter. You know, you ever see a crackhead like that just fucking standing in the street reciting dark incantations? And you just have to fucking, you walk past, but you try and catch a little sliver of the conversation he's having with a demon or whatever. You know, you walk past and it's just like, yeah. Why is it? Have you noticed that it's always over money? You ever noticed that? Like when I walk around Frankston and there's people that are just frozen and muttering, they're always having a debate over money that was owed to them. And, you know, we look at those people and go, that guy's fucking crazy, but we do that shit in the shower, you know? The reason why they're out there in the street standing still muttering about someone who slighted them fucking 7 years ago is because they don't get to do that standing in a shower like you and me. I know you do that shit. You're standing in the shower. It's fucking, that bitch Stacy fucked me over. Here's what I should have said. Here's what I would have said. This would have owned her in the moment. I didn't say it, but I wish I did. You know, if I didn't have a shower in my home, I'd have to do that on the street in Chapel Street and everyone would look at me like I'm crazy. But it's not crazy. It's just supposed to be contained to the shower. I mean, if we're being fucking real, that's this entire podcast, and it has been for years, is me sitting in my red chair and having a mutter to myself about what pissed me off this week, but because I record it and release it as a podcast and I have a Patreon, for some reason, I'm not like a homeless crack addict beggar schizophrenically screaming into the void. What, because I do it in 4K, it's less insane? Like, I'm doing the same shit. That guy that you passed in the city who smells awful, fucking sprint walking while having an entire conversation with himself. You look at that guy and you go, that guy's fucking crazy. Anyway, I'm going to turn on Spearhead Sundays and pay Lewis $5 a month to do it. What, it's less crazy because I don't stink? That's the difference. See, that'll give you a little bit more empathy for these supposed crazy people. The only difference between them and your favorite podcaster is a shower. And sometimes I don't even shower before I do this thing. This fucking microphone stand is fucked. That's what I got to do with the Patreon money. I got to fix this thing. Because last episode I turned the microphone off. I feel like that it actually goes against my best interest to have like a happy and peaceful life because it makes the episodes less good. You know? I bet some of you fucking freaks were like, oh, Lewis has had a personal family emergency hit him. The next episode's going to be a good one. You monster. So... anyway, what the fuck what are we doing here? Andrew Tate's in the USA. The Tate brothers are back in America. Oh, good. That's great. Andrew Tate's have escaped Romania. Fucking put them on the front lines of Ukraine, I reckon. Let them fight for Russia. Okay, fair enough. All right. They're American citizens. They can live in America. Whatever. Fine. cool. Why the fuck is every single right-wing influencer and business lord and UFC fighter and UFC owner so excited to meet the credibly accused of sex trafficking brothers? That shit sucks, dude. Why is Ben Shapiro the only voice of reason on the right when it comes to not wanting to shake hands with the guys that have fucking video of them beating the shit out of a minor? Sorry, not the guys. Only Andrew Tate did that. Tristan hasn't been caught flogging a minor and then calling it a sex game just yet. These dudes are the most fucking self-snitched on people of all time. These guys are worse than that YNW Melly guy. Like, he made one song about killing someone. These guys made 7,000 hours of recorded podcasts of how to human traffic people and then started posting their girlfriends that, if you do the math on their date of birth, really look like they were minors when they first got involved with the Tates and their webcam business. Talking about the Loverboy method like it was some amazing mind hack that they figured out, charging a monthly subscription fee on how to fucking abuse and traffic women. And they get to rock up to the UFC. Meanwhile, some fucking retard UFC fighter is like, I don't think the Holocaust is real. And Dana White will come out and be like, that guy's a fucking idiot. Anyway, I've got a meeting with the sex traffickers who also say that shit. Shaking their hands. And what's the difference? They've got a podcast. Fucking the right-wing influencers of America would rally around Jeffrey Epstein if he had a big podcast, you know? If that guy had a big Patreon, they would all be shaking his hands at UFC events. You know, you can only be a human trafficker if you're a Democrat in that fucking weird country. But if you've got a six-pack and you smoke cigars, for some reason trafficking chicks is cool and never happened at the same time. It didn't happen, and also the course made me a lot of money, but, you know, that's fine because one of them's Muslim and the other one's Christian. Have you noticed that? Fucking Andrew Tate's like a Muslim, and then the other guy is like a traditionalist Christian, and it's like, do you not see what's going on here? They're just fucking picking groups that rally around their members because it helps their cause. All right? If there was a third Tate, he'd be Jewish. And thank God there's not, because then they would all start fighting over the first bedroom in the house, going, that was promised to me. No, it was promised to me. No, it was promised to me. Is that not fucking weird? You're like the Tates are like everyone has that fucking mate from high school that just has like an innumerable number of stories about him. That and when there's that many stories, you just got to be like, look, dude, I don't know if this shit is true, because I haven't seen video footage of it, but we can't hang out anymore because everyone's saying this stuff and a lot of people have stories. Sorry. True enough. So yeah, that's good. The Tates are in USA. I like that Florida is like, all right, we're starting a criminal investigation, and then Andrew Tate's like, oh, what? I just came to this country and already I'm getting fucking investigated. Why are you investigating me, Florida? And it's like, well, because you're there, brother. It's like trafficking, sex trafficking, and fucking minors is illegal everywhere, but you're only really going to get investigated for it in the country that you're actually in, you know? There's no point in fucking America charging a guy that they can't charge because he's not there. You know? Oh, what? I've been charged with a crime just because I committed it overseas on camera? Yes! And that's the thing. The other thing is like, okay, let's say that these dudes absolutely are not child traffickers. Let's just say that it's absolutely false. Let's say that there's not even any allegations of that, all right? There's a lot, but let's say that there's none. The guy's a fucking crypto scammer. The guy runs fucking fake business courses where you can talk to fake experts where no one's making any fucking money. The guy intentionally preys on incredibly lonely and sad men. The dude really leans into that fucking hateful incel Nazi-esque type shit. The dude's using a religion and as like body armor. Like even if you took all of the criminal activity out of it, they're fucking scummy people that contribute nothing to the world. Other than $100 monthly incel clubs for fucking losers. Bro, you can be an incel that gets manipulated into doing a school shooting for free on Discord, dude. The FBI will do that for free. Well, not for free. It's funded by taxpayer money. But you don't need to pay $100 a month to hate women. A lot of dudes are out there doing that shit for free because they can't afford $100 a month. If you can afford a $100 a month subscription and you hate chicks, bro, your priorities are all out of whack. You could take a lady on a date and maybe fall in love and have children, and they'd be like, you know what, chicks are all right. You're paying $100 a month to be fucking surrounded by a bunch of people that are fucking so desperate for money that they're spending $100 a month to join the Discord group with Romanian scam artists, teaching them how to become absolutely fucking reprehensible and disgusting to women. Because here's the thing, all right? You try that lover boy method and all that shit, and you fucking use the game to sure, you might fuck like dozens of women, but eventually word just gets around that you're kind of just a piece of shit, and the only type of woman available to you is a woman that doesn't respect herself enough to pursue or allow a man with any sort of like value beyond financial to pursue her, and then you just have confirmation bias where it's like damaged men seeking out damaged women, and then those two groups damage each other even further and confirm their own biases. The relationship deteriorates and explodes, and now you have a woman who hates men even more and a man who hates women even more, and the cycle continues. And then, you know. Anyway, guys, there's nothing much funny about that. Welcome to Spearhead Sundays. I've had a weird week. A lot of good things have happened. A lot of really bad things have happened. And I feel like my emotional state is cycling between the two. So I hope this is a good episode. If it's not, it's an episode and I haven't missed it. And I'm keeping up my streak. What the fuck am I talking? Oh, speaking of sex traffickers with podcasts, the King of England started up a podcast for Commonwealth Day, whatever the fuck that is, the We Still Own You Day, the celebration of, our flag's still on yours. It's funny how everyone who really likes Australia Day and likes to celebrate the fucking England's invasion of this country doesn't really celebrate the Commonwealth Day or whatever the fuck that is, or care about the king except for the one day. Anyway, he has his own radio show where he's playing songs that spark joy or something like that. Thank God the king or the king's advisors were in charge of that playlist, because if he put Prince Andrew in charge of that playlist, all we would be hearing is fucking the only thing we'd be hearing is fucking Michael Jackson's greatest hits. Who's that other guy? The singing dude? Did you get your shots? Who's that guy that pisses on people? No, not that. No, not that pop singer. The other one. Isn't that funny how that doesn't narrow it down? Who's the bald black guy that pisses on women? Where's my phone? Hey Siri, who is that bald black singer that pisses on women? I don't know how to respond to that. This is why you suck. I'm gonna ask ChatGPT. What's the guy's name? Someone listening to this is screaming at their fucking phone. Hey, who's the guy? Who's that pop singer that likes to piss on underage women?
It sounds like you're referring to R. Kelly.
R. Kelly! I was thinking Ray J. I knew it was an R. Not that R. That's not what I meant. I knew it was an R word. Fucking R. Kelly. That's right. Dude. So, the King's got a podcast. And we're all... The world's fucked, isn't it? Isn't the world fucked? The world is quite literally being run by podcasters. Literally. Trump won because of podcasters, and the Dems lost because they're scared of podcasters. All right? Kamala Harris sucks on a podcast. I can't vote for that bitch. I can only vote for someone who can talk for 3 hours and come across as likable. What do you mean the stock market's tanking? No. As an aspiring immigrant, as someone who would like to come in on a visa, I love Donald Trump, and just recently I've decided I love Israel heaps. You see that? They're fucking starting to deport people who aren't citizens for protests. You know what I think of that? I agree with it 100%. Let's go. Good luck, America. Can't wait to be there. I want to be there for the final season. You know, I started talking to an immigration lawyer recently. I feel like this might be the last couple years where that's even a job you can have in America. Unless you start working for the other team, they're gonna have to reverse. What they're gonna do is they're gonna take their job and they're gonna here's why you should leave, instead of I'm gonna help you get in. I'm gonna get you the fuck out. No, it's all right. I'm the right color, and I don't have enough syllables in my name to get deported or denied access to Australia, America. Same thing, very different. For now, dude, I got an electric toothbrush. This is a weird episode. I feel like I'm whatever. I got an electric toothbrush. Is this what you guys come here for? It's what you're getting. You know, you get what you get, and you don't get upset. Late. Strange, weird energy. We're here. I got an electric toothbrush for the first time because I went to the dentist, right? I went to the dentist with my son, and you know me, I'm trying to set a good example of a good, strong but emotionally intelligent man. All right, to raise up the next generation of Zoomers with backbone but also emotional intelligence and strength that they know when not to use. All right. So I went to the dentist, and I thought I'm gonna be a good example to my son. All right, and I'm gonna show him how easy it is to get fillings. Okay. Now, the last time I went to the dentist, I had the biggest panic attack that I've ever had in my life, and I had to end the appointment. No, sorry. They had to end the appointment because I had to take so many breaks that they ran out of time. Because I spent the first 20 minutes of the appointment having a panic attack in the bathroom and crying a little bit. Now, let me say this. It was a physical panic attack. It wasn't mental. All right? I talked to my anesthetist before he put me under for the surgery, and he said there's a lot of adrenaline in that general anesthetic. All right? And he goes, how many shots did they give you? And I think they gave me 6 to 8. And he said, whoa, that's fucking heaps. That would give anyone a panic attack. I'm like, I needed a lot of fillings. He said, why? Don't you brush your teeth? I said, I brush my teeth. I just had a fucking 2-year-long process where my mouth was so swollen and I had so much fucking metal in it, and I had a spacer wrapped around my molars, and then I had to use a CPAP machine. It fucking dried out my mouth and gave me some cavities. All right? I brushed my teeth, thank you very much. So they ended that fucking appointment early, all right? They tapped out because I was too fucking tough and cool. All right? It was a terrible experience, all right? But this time I was just going in for a teeth clean and a little look. All right? That's all. So no anesthetic, nothing. So I'm not going to have another panic attack. Because I'm not scared at the dentist. I'm a strong man, and I'm putting on a good example for my son, who has the appointment right after me. Went in for a teeth clean. They start cleaning my teeth with the drill or whatever the fuck it is. It hurts. That's okay. I'm a big, strong man, and I can tolerate discomfort for my dental health. Now, we get 3 minutes into this appointment that is an hour long. And I start thinking crazy shit like, oh, that's all right. We must be halfway done. The nurse sees my distress and she goes, would you like a squish toy? And I said, and she gave me one, and I thought, that's all I'm going to need to get through this fucking appointment. Tell me why 3 minutes after she gave me the squish toy, she goes, would you like another one? Is it that obvious that I'm having a bad time? Dude, I said, no, I'm not a fucking baby. I don't need 2 squish toys. I'm 31. I'm a father. I'm showing a good example to my son that the dentist is not scary, and it's fine, actually. I've never in my life had a problem with the dentist. Gone to the dentist from when I was a kid to when I was a man. I only started having a problem very recently. Might have something to do with all of the horrific trauma that my mouth went through over the last 2 years that has scarred me slightly, but that's okay because up here, I know that there's nothing scary about the dentist. Unfortunately, my lizard brain knows that every time someone puts their fingers in my mouth, I wake up in the hospital half retarded on pain medicine, and then I don't get to eat solid food for 6 months. But that's just lizard brain, and we don't listen to him. He just controls everything to do with our body unconsciously. Like whether or not the dentist would be a good environment for a panic attack. But I haven't had any general or local anesthetic, so I'm not going to have one of those because I'm not scared of the dentist. Anyway, they clean my teeth, and they said if you feel discomfort at any moment, just fucking throw your hands up in the air and we'll stop. Tell me why I started acting like I was at a fucking rave and the DJ kept going, hands up, hands up. Every fucking 7 seconds, it was a hands up moment at the dentist, baby. I felt like I was in a hostage situation with a very indecisive hostage taker who didn't know if he wanted to execute me or make me put my hands up. Hands up, hands down, hands up. I feel sorry for that dentist because I put them through the most confusing silent game of Simon Says. Simon says, hands up. Anyway, they cleaned every single one of my teeth on the bottom half, and then I put my hands up halfway through the appointment and I said, that's enough. And they said, oh, we'll have a little break. And I went, no, that's enough. I'm going home. I didn't even know you could do that. Ended appointment early. I said, that's enough. Left. Came out of the office, looked at my son, and he was disappointed in me. But that's okay, because I tried my best. And I was pretending I get out and he goes, how was it? I went, it was totally fine. And he went, didn't sound like it. They left the fucking door open. I'm trying not to freak him out. So he doesn't have some stupid fucking irrational fear of the dentist like me. Well, it's not very irrational, is it? All right? I was never scared of the dentist until I fucking got decapitated by surgeons. And then there's a little bit of trauma there. So a fear of the dentist was rationally gifted to me by God. Thank you for this trial and tribulation, Lord. Don't know why that's about. I'm assuming it's part of your plan. Anyway, my son goes in and he has an even longer appointment. Totally fine. Didn't care at all. All right. So good for him. You know, I have to go back in. Now I have to go back to finish. You know that wasn't even the fucking point of the appointment? The point of the appointment was to fucking fix up the cavities that I have left over from the last fucking appointment that I tapped out of halfway through. Still haven't done that. All right, they were like, oh, while you're here, we'll clean your teeth. And I was like, how about we'll just do half the job, half of the while we're here job, I'll tap out and fucking leave again. I got gray hair. I can't do this. I'm a man. I can't be fucking... I'm trying to set a good example to my son that the dentist isn't scary. Brother, I left. Early. And you know what? You know what's crazy? You know what's nuts? I actually had I set the follow-up appointment for today. I canceled it. I said, delay it. I'll be there in a couple weeks. I wasn't up to it. Because I knew that if I went to the dentist, I would have to take 3 days to fucking recover from that shit because it's a little bit traumatic for me now. We love the dentist. We love to look after our teeth. We're very grateful for what the surgeons have done for us, but there's a residual, some side effects. All right, one of the side effects is I look much more handsome, and a lot more women watch the YouTube channel now. We're very grateful for that. The other side effect is apparently I'm scared of the dentist now. I'm not scared of the dentist. I'm scared at the dentist. I'm not even scared at the dentist. I'm scared during the dentist appointment. That's all right. Look, man, the moment here's one thing that I don't tell you about getting in tune with your emotions and the signals that your body sends you is that it's not just good things like finding out that actually you do get hungry and you should actually feed your body, and maybe you do need a little bit more sleep, and maybe you are stressed so you should do a little meditation. It's not just those things. You also start to discover stuff like, oh fuck, I hate getting my teeth cleaned. I need to go home now. So anyway, they said, all right, well, we can see in your files that this is the second time that you fucking left an appointment halfway through the job being done. So what we're going to do now is we're going to have baby appointments where we're going to do one thing at a time instead of everything at a time. So now, instead of I've turned one appointment 2 years ago into fucking 8. Just like that. Oh, good. Now, instead of getting it done in 1, I get to do it in 8. I get to go back fucking every 3 weeks for a year. It's been a weird week for me. I don't like the dentist anymore. Used to like the dentist. I have 4 cavities and like a box, and it's right where my spacer was wrapped around my molars. My spacer, I was talking like it's still in my fucking mouth. I had the spacer wrapped around my top and bottom back molars, and that's all 4 of them have. I've got 4 cavities, 1, 2, 3, 4, right where it was, because you couldn't brush your teeth there because it was fucking metal was wrapped around it. So anyway, the dentist was like, do you have an electric toothbrush? And I said, no, I don't have an electric toothbrush. And she said, you should get one because they're much better. And I said, what should I get? And she recommended me one, and I got that one. I got the fucking, I don't know what it is. It's an old, it's one of them, all right? It's got lots of good reviews on Amazon, all right? And I got that one. And dude, I don't think I've ever had such clean teeth in my life. I had an electric toothbrush when I was a kid, but they were like the first ones when they were like those little tiny heads. The one I have now, I've got some fucking Sonic the Hedgehog cleaning teeth. It's a Sonic. It's not a little baby fucking Sonic the Hedgehog. It just said I said Sonic and then I thought the Hedgehog. I have autism. Like, why would I even need an official diagnosis? I said Sonic, and then the retarded part of my brain was like, the Hedgehog. Maybe that's the real reason why I couldn't deal with the dentist, because I got sensory overload. You know, that's actually probably the real reason why. I was like, you know what? I don't like this. It's too much for me. I'd rather fucking touch velvet. That's not true. I don't like velvet. There's something about the texture weirds me out. So anyway, I got a Sonic the Hedgehog. I got a Sonic toothbrush, electric toothbrush. All right. And dude, that thing, I feel like every time I use it, it's scrambling my fucking brain. All right. I don't know who's making these things, but I feel like they shared patents with those monsters that invented those giant vibrators that women use on themselves, like they're fucking jackhammers, and then go, men can't make me come. No, you've desensitized, you've just about skinned yourself using that fucking thing. All right. Of course I can't. Look at what makes you know. What's that quote? You know, your boos mean nothing. I've seen what makes you cheer. Your boos mean nothing, women. I've seen what makes you come. Books about vampires and werewolves and a fucking industrial grade jackhammer. All right? No. They add to the bedroom. It's not competition, it's an addition. So anyway, I'm using this fucking industrial grade vibrator on my fucking teeth, and I highly recommend an electric toothbrush, man. Never felt cleaner in my life. And you know what else? All right? You know how they always say, brush your teeth for 2 minutes. And that, you just kind of do the math in your head, because no, you don't want to fucking be counting down from 120 every time you brush your teeth. So you just kind of fucking wing it. Electric toothbrush, dude. It buzzes in 30-second increments so you can divide your mouth into quarters. Teeth, never been cleaner in my whole life. And I've done the fucking water pick thing as well before this. And I brush my teeth manually every day like some kind of third world peasant. Not anymore. All right? I've got a Sonic the Hedgehog toothbrush, and it's changed my life. Every time I brush for the full 2 minutes, I think this will keep me away from the dentist. Anything to keep me away from the dentist. Because I've been gifted of an irrational lizard brain traumatic response to the dentist bestowed upon me by Dr. Sam Verco and my surgical team. No, I'm very grateful, but this is the side effect, which is the only negative side effect so far, because the other side effect is just looking less fucked. So we're very grateful, but with every blessing, with every silver lining, there is a cloud. All right. What else do we have here? I've got this. This is great. I might make a video on this. We'll see how I feel. Olympic breakdancer Raygun's brother Brendan Gunn charged in $100,000 crypto fraud. That is funny. Runs in the family. Maybe getting into positions of power that you don't necessarily deserve and manipulating everyone else involved to put yourself there. Seemingly runs in the family, allegedly. Olympian Rachel Raygun's brother has been charged for allegedly handling money totaling more than $100,000 that was the proceeds of crime. Raygun shot to fame for her performance during whatever, enough about her. Her brother, Brendan Gunn from Camp Hill, Queensland, is the director of More Markets Proprietary Limited, a company that accepts deposits for conversion from cryptocurrency and other investment opportunities. The Australian Securities and Investments Commission investigated More Markets and released a statement detailing the allegations against Gunn. Brendan Gunn has been charged for allegedly handling money for more than $100,000 that was the proceeds of crime. It is alleged that Mr. Gunn dealt with 2 bank checks which contained the proceeds of 4 investment amounts totaling $181,000 made by 3 victim investors who deposited funds for conversion to cryptocurrency. On behalf of More Markets, Mr. Gunn allegedly sought to open a series of bank accounts on an ongoing basis to receive and transfer deposits, despite bank accounts being repeatedly closed due to concerns about scams and Mr. Gunn being informed of these concerns about scams. Very interesting. Well, it's not like the Gunn family to engage in shady dealings for economic output. If Gunn is convicted, he faces a maximum penalty of 3 years imprisonment, a $37,800 fine, or both. ASIC chairman Joe Longo added, ASIC continues to prioritize scam prevention and detection activity to protect consumers. Where were you during the Olympics, Mr. Longo? We needed you. We will continue to partner with internal law enforcement organizations and investigate and take action where we see misconduct. The matter reflects ASIC's commitment to pursue those in Australia who it is alleged are involved in facilitating cross-border scams targeting Australian investors. That is hilarious. Raygun shot to fame for her performance at the Paris Games, which was widely panned around the world. But her brother Brendan publicly supported her on social media at the time. Where's her support for Brendan? I haven't seen Raygun support her brother at all in his scams, alleged. In a post on X on August 10, Brendan wrote, could not be prouder of my amazing sister, Raygun, who did an incredible job competing in a brand new Olympic sport representing this great country. Where's her statement? Could not be prouder of my brother representing his country in the brand new scam, cryptocurrency. You know, what she really should have done is she should have worked with this guy to release a fucking meme coin called the Raygun coin or whatever the fuck. They would have made a few $1 million and not been punished for it. That's what everyone's doing. In a subsequent post, retweeting a video of Aussie athletes dancing with Raygun ahead of the closing ceremony, Brendan wrote, doesn't surprise me at all. This is just another example of your unique and beautiful spirit. Raygun getting the love she deserves. That's true. That's awesome. I mean, like, this is the world now where every single person is involved in some sort of cryptocurrency scam. If they're even remotely known at all, someone involved with them will get involved with the cryptocurrency scam. I sold NFTs as a joke, but still, I mean, I don't think they even sold. I think maybe one person bought them because it was an NFT trashing NFTs. But they're up there. The Lewis Spears NFT is there. Every single person you know is involved in cryptocurrency scams in some way or another. Even the fucking US government's doing it now. Investing in cryptocurrency, tanking the stock market, and then going, sorry guys, we're actually making America great again by announcing tariffs and then saying that there will be short-term pain in the market while these tariffs are implemented. And then the market crashes, and then they go, just kidding about those tariffs. We were just, I don't know, tanking the market for fun as a prank. Well, I don't see what the long-term plan here is, but I support it 100%. And Israel too. Let me in. I want to perform at the New York Comedy Club by any means necessary. I'm sick of doing fucking pubs in Australia. I would like to be in a real environment for comedy. Even if that means I have to jump over homeless people lighting each other on fire on the train to get there, I would like to perform in the States. I want a gun, or at least to be shot by one. I'm sick of being able to protest. I want to be an immigrant where that's not allowed for some reason, unless, well, it depends what you're protesting. Or who. Anyway, guys, how evil is Hamas? All right, should we do some emails here? If you want to email the podcast, if you need some life advice, if you would like to tell me a story, send it through to podcast@louspears.com. That is LEWspears.com. Podcast@louspears.com. This part of the podcast is supported by you on Patreon. We have no sponsors at the moment. The only way we get this show up and running is with your support. We do a bonus Patreon exclusive episode on Patreon. What am I going to talk about there? Oh yeah, some stuff that happened when I went swimming that I don't want public because it might get me banned from the pool. So that's what we're going to talk about on Patreon. So for the low price of I don't know what the fuck it costs, go and check it out. Patreon.com/LouSpears. I think it's like $3. What's that fucking shit that everyone says? The price of a coffee. Dude, that's cheaper than a fucking coffee. You can't get a coffee for less than $5 now. I'm undervaluing myself. For less than the price of a coffee. For the price of coffee at home, you can support the show. How shit's that? Coffee at home? That's a good, that sounds like a good idea. And then you have coffee at home and it's like, oh, it wasn't even about the coffee. It was kind of about going to the cafe and leaving the house. Because I've got a coffee machine at home and I have really good beans. I bought beans back from my favorite cafe in Perth and I thought, oh, I'll have the same experience. I fucking make it on my coffee machine at home. I think I just liked the place that I went to in Perth. The beans are good, but I think it was more about leaving the apartment. So, whatever. Anyway, this email here. How did you stay mentally healthy and motivated when getting surgery and recovering? Brother, did you listen to any of the podcasts I did while I was fucking recovering? I was not mentally healthy. I was trying my best. G'day, Lewis. I previously sent in an email for miscellaneous bit at the end, the worst part of the podcast, about abandoning my terminally ill mother to move to Melbourne. Your advice was just what I needed to hear and helped me through the issue. I have now moved to Melbourne and I don't regret it. Yeah, fuck that dying bitch. I was a little savage in that email though. Like, damn, she isn't that bad, but your advice genuinely helped me so much and I appreciate you taking the time for such a great answer. She wasn't that bad? You're a bad son. Go and help her. Move out of Melbourne. Take care of your dying mother. You're a horrible... No. I'm sure you know what you're doing, all right? I have a new question for you after experiencing something myself. I just went on a holiday in Japan. I went snowboarding and some fucking idiot used me as a crash pad. No, you know what happened? Some Japanese person saw a white guy filming themselves and was like, I've had enough of these fucking gaijin disrespecting my country. And he fucking kamikazed you. Banzai! And took you out on the fucking slopes. As a result, I have 2 broken ribs, various sprains, and bruising. Worst of all, a completely annihilated knee. Good job, Hiroshi. You brought a lot of honor to your family by taking out this dirty gaijin, ruining your great country on the slopes. The rib bruising and sprains aren't too bad, as they will eventually heal over time and come good. However, my knee is going to require a major surgery and reconstruction along with at least 12 months of rehab to return to a normal life. Been there, brother. Except it was 4 years. Oh, and now I can't go to the dentist. This has kind of ruined so much shit for me and made my life incredibly difficult as I now live in Melbourne by myself with no real support. Well, how do you think your sick mother feels, huh? No, I'm joking. I'm joking. And I have only 2 friends somewhat nearby, which I don't want to rely on. That's a mistake. You got to rely on people that are willing to help you, dude. You don't get through illness without the support of loved ones. The logistics are cooked. I cannot drive or walk. Dude, I can relate to half of that. And I won't be able to for at least 3 months in the best case scenario. My rehab requires constant stretching and exercise, icing, and rest, and so many guidelines to make sure I don't ruin my knee permanently. This process is not going to end anytime soon. I will eventually see improvement to where I can walk and drive, but that won't be for a while. I'm having trouble staying positive as I feel like this has just killed all hope and motivation I have to do anything. It's a huge roadblock to my university. I just started a new job and I don't have any sick or recreational leave. Staying motivated to constantly work on my leg post-surgery and not just give up and accept my life as a cripple is a daily struggle. Given that you have gone through multiple major surgeries and a lengthy, difficult recovery yourself, what can you suggest working on, and what type of mindset kept you motivated and positive to get through it and recover? Thanks again, Spearhead Sundays fan. Okay. Here's the reality. How did you stay mentally healthy and motivated when getting surgery and recovery? I didn't. That's okay. I tried my best. I was not very mentally healthy, but I did do one thing, and that was I fucking tried every single day. It is really difficult to lose an essential bodily function. For me, it was talking and eating. For you, it's walking, all right? I remember, I think I was bedbound for at least a month, maybe even 2. And even then, I couldn't leave the house for much because I was ugly and swelling and drooling and I couldn't eat food, all right? I couldn't chew. And that happened to me twice, all right? Because I had 2 surgeries. And the first one didn't make me feel any better, all right? We know this. All you can do is try. One thing that was really difficult to do, but was also essential, was I gave up. Not on everything, but on a lot of things. I gave up on doing things that would have been very possible for me now, but became impossible for sick me. And that was not a permanent give up. It was a temporary one because I naively got myself into this place where I would just keep trying and bashing my head against the wall, and I would have a good run for 2 months, and then the reality of how sick I was would defeat me, and then I would go back to square one. And that process of trying to get momentum and then being too sick to fucking keep it up, and then going backwards even further back from where I started, because it was just this cycle of like trying to the detriment of myself, and then going so far backwards because I was fucking ruining myself and overworking myself and not honoring my body and my mind, and making myself worse because I wasn't focused on recovery or being ill. I was just focused on ignoring that and pushing through it and hustling and being on my grind and I'll be fine. I just need to work harder, burning myself out and harming myself by doing so. That, and breaking my own heart from like getting somewhere and losing it and getting somewhere and losing it. I remember I made the conscious decision I just need to fucking give up, and I need to only focus on one thing. And that one thing was being sick and becoming well. Because in the scheme of things, a year feels like a really long time, or 4 years for me feels like a really long time. But in the scheme of your entire fucking life, I was talking to a woman that was 85 years old at church on Sunday. And she was telling me how she lived through the recovery of World War II. That was so fucking long ago, all right? 4 years in a lifespan of 80. We're probably going to live to our 90s, dude, if we look after ourselves. Our generation, all right? 4 out of 90, it's a fucking blip, all right? You sounds like it's only 1 year. That's an even smaller blip. And it feels bigger when you're young, especially when you're so excited and you've moved out and you think you're going to live this amazing life. Dude, brother, I've been there. I moved out to my first house and then fucking COVID happened. And then I finally got diagnosed and then lockdown happened and then I couldn't do anything. I couldn't even begin my recovery journey because non-essential medical procedures, whatever the fuck that means, was banned. So I just had to get progressively more and more and more sick during that time. And then when everybody else finished lockdown, I entered my own personal lockdown round 2, where I had to go through surgeries and recoveries and watch the whole world come out of their fucking prison while I went into my own little personal one, right? So that was really difficult for me. And I had to decide to give up everything else and stop trying with everything else so that I could focus on just being well. And that was really difficult, but it was essential. And it was what made it possible, all right? There's this really good book that I should have read before I went through all of this, but I started reading during the process, and I'll recommend it to you and to anyone else who's going through something or about to go through something, or even who have never really gone through something terrible yet, because everybody will, because that's life, all right? And at this point in my life, I had a real lucky run. I got to my like mid-20s and I hadn't really experienced anything truly awful. But then it all happened at once and I had no idea how to handle it, right? Great book, The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday. There's one chapter in it that potentially would have changed my entire life and how I would have gone about my surgery and my recovery process. And it basically says, all right, the premise of the book is the obstacle is the way, right? Where if there's an obstacle in your path, the only way to get through, the only way past that obstacle is to actually go through it, to conquer it, to overcome it. But there is one chapter in that book where it basically just reverses everything that was said in that book. And it basically says that this, like, some obstacles are genuinely fucking impossible. And a lot of that is just because you are attempting something that is impossible. It doesn't matter how hard you try to fly with no assistance from an airplane, you will never be able to do that. So no matter how hard you work, the only thing you're going to do to yourself is make you go insane. So for me, my impossible obstacle was trying to do all of the stuff that I'm doing now while I was sick, right? That was the impossible obstacle that I should have given up on so much sooner. I would have saved myself so much money, so much pain, so much stress, so much time. And as counterintuitive as this feels for my career, it would have been so much better for my career to disappear for a couple of years and say, hey guys, I'm going to be sick for a couple of years. I will update you periodically through my process. I only really did that in like the last year of my illness. And you guys saw that, where I fucking disappeared. I even paused my Patreon. I stopped making everything. I stopped posting on social media. But I didn't choose to do that. I had to do that because my entire fucking body shut down. Because I bashed my head against a wall and tried to achieve the fucking impossible. I'm going to be a traveling comedian while unbelievably ill. And all I really achieved was like sporadic uploads. I made like 1 or 2 good videos, and I made a whole bunch of average shit. And I just blew through all of my money trying to make stuff and pay all the bills and pay salaries and all this kind of stuff, when really what I should have done is taken all the savings that I had and really looked at it and gone, I actually can afford to take a full year off and be sick here, instead of spending all of my money trying to ignore the fact that I am sick and create my way through it while making myself sicker and more stressed and more insane. All right? So my advice to you would be, yes, you've moved to a new place and you're probably really, really excited to do all of these new things and engage with your newfound freedom now that you don't live with your your ill and mean mother, right? But sorry, brother, you are sick. You have to focus on your knee. So my recommendation to you would actually be cut out every single fucking thing from your life that isn't making sure you have enough money in the bank to recover and recover. That's the only thing that matters. Add in some friends and family and a bit of community. That's it. The only thing you should be focused on is becoming well. All right? And making enough money to look after yourself, buy food, see doctors, do therapy, physical therapy and all that kind of stuff, and look after your leg. Because what's going to impact you more? All right? A year of pausing all of your amazing goals and aspirations and your life to fix your leg, or having a fucked leg for your entire life and being unable to live it. Because that's the decision that I had to make. And I made the wrong decision for years until I was forced to make the correct one because I ran out of money, because my body shut down, because I pushed myself way too far and everything just blew up in my face. And I was forced to just take 3 months off where I didn't talk to anyone, I didn't make anything. And then I was like, fuck, this is actually so much better for me. I should have done this a long time ago. I would have saved myself so much time and pain and money. Right? Because as awful as it would have been for me to stop doing this podcast and stop making videos and all this kind of stuff, and I felt like, oh man, I'm going to lose if I do that, I'll lose all my fans and my audience and people will be disappointed. You know what else is more disappointing to you guys? Fucking releasing a sporadic podcast where I had a fucking lisp, where I could only do episodes for 30 minutes, where I mostly just talked about being sad and sick. That I don't think much value was gotten from that, and it certainly harmed me a lot. So when you are going through a really tough time, sometimes you have to cut everything out and focus on going through a really fucking tough time. I've actually been thinking about writing a book about this, about like how to walk through hell. And you can't walk through hell while you're also trying to become an athlete, trying to fucking study, trying to become the greatest comedian to ever come out of Australia. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes you just have to focus on walking through hell, and that's the only way you're going to get to the other side, is to, because a lot of this stuff, and especially for me, when I was ill, speaking for myself, I didn't acknowledge that I was sick. And so the only way you can actually get better physically, mentally, spiritually, is to acknowledge that you are sick. All right? The person who breaks their arm doesn't heal their arm by ignoring the fact that their arm is broken and continuing to play the sport in which they broke it. They fix their arm by stopping football, going to the doctor, putting their arm in a cast, and taking the fucking time off. For some reason, with sports and injuries, it's so much more obvious that we have to stop doing the sport that caused the injury so that we can continue playing the sport. But with our lives, we don't acknowledge that. Like with grief, when someone important to you dies, when you go through a horrible breakup, when you experience some kind of trauma, we never think, oh, I actually have to stop and go through this. We always just think, nah, I just need to fucking work harder. I know that I'm sick, but I got to go to work. I know that I'm sick, but I have a fucking dream. If I just stopped and really was like, nah, I'm really sick and I need to resolve this, I had a shit run. COVID stopped all surgeries, so a little bit impossible for me. My only option really was to continue creating. But when I got through COVID and those surgeries started to happen to me, I should have stopped. I should have let all my wonderful employees go and gone, sorry, I can't afford to look after you because I have to look after me. And I wouldn't have had all of this fucking stress. I wouldn't have had to do a tour that I was too sick to do, that I ended up having to cancel shows for, all this kind of stuff. I would have been able to use that money to look after me, and I would have been able to work. I would have not had to work myself to death, and I would have allowed myself the grace of being ill and recovering and focusing on that. And I didn't do that until my body shut down. And if you don't take the time off to have a fucked knee, you will just have a fucked leg forever. Your body will make you do it. The same is true of the mind. If you are really going through it, if you've experienced a big trauma, a breakup, a death, if you don't process that stuff, if you don't take time to acknowledge the hurt and the injury, it'll never heal. And that goes for emotional, spiritual, and physical injuries. If you don't acknowledge you're sick, you cannot heal, because that's how you heal, is by being sick. So my advice to you, and my advice to my old self, is to go, it's okay. Don't attempt the impossible. Your incredibly ambitious goal and amazing achievement that you need to be focusing on is recovering from this horrific injury. Because you know what I hear heaps from people whenever I tell them what I've been through, or people that watch me go through it, is I hear all the time, oh my God, I could never do that. That is amazing. And you know what? It fucking is. Recovering from an injury or a trauma or a death or anything like that. It's really fucking hard, and it's really amazing. So you need to put all of your energy into that, because if you don't, either you never will recover, or you will be forced to only focus on that by your body, because everything will fall apart if you don't focus on it. So how did I stay mentally healthy while I was recovering? I didn't, but I tried my fucking best to, and I looked after myself. And if I didn't look after my emotional state and my mind and my body, then I never would have become well. People look at me now after all the shit that I've been through, and there's a lot of stuff that I haven't spoken about, right, publicly, and that other people in my life know. They look at me and they go, wow, how did you get through all of that and stay mentally sane? But that's in retrospect. I'm okay now because I allowed myself the grace and the opportunity to not be okay and to really fucking struggle physically, mentally, spiritually. And that's why now I'm on the other side giving people like you some advice, because I've been there. And that is the gift of sustained trouble, resilience, and wisdom. You will come out of this the strongest, most resilient, and powerful version of yourself, but only if you allow this to happen, and if you allow yourself to be sick and through that heal. If you ignore it, if you block it out, if you shove it down, like so many of us men are so good at doing when we experience not just a physical injury, but an emotional or a spiritual one, right? Or a relationship trauma, right? We're so good at shoving that shit down. If you do that, you will come out the other end as actually a much weaker, much more fragile version of yourself. And I'm not just talking about your knee, but I am also talking about your knee. The permanent gift of temporary but sustained troubles is resilience and wisdom, brother. And the ability to help other people through it. I hope that you, like me, will get through the other thing and think to yourself, man, I would never choose to go through that again. But I understand that the only reason I am this version of me, the strongest, most resilient, emotionally intelligent, and able to help other people version of myself, is because of all that awful shit that I would never choose for myself or anyone else to go through. So what really helped me was writing every day and going for a walk every day. Now that part might be a bit difficult for you. But maybe you can sit in the backyard. I remember when I couldn't walk after my surgery for a couple months, I just sat in the backyard and I got sun in my face. And that was all that I could do. And I bet you could do that with your fucked knee. I bet you could get out of the house and sit. Or I bet you could at least fucking sit by the window. Or if you couldn't do that, I bet you could get someone else to open the curtains and just get some sun on your face. That helps heaps, right? And I would write every single day. The Artist Way book is a really good book. Buy that book. Do the program. It's changed my fucking life. I still do it. I still write every 3 days. Every day I write 3 pages, and that helps me so much. And, you know, when awful shit happens, like what's happened this week with my family, I'm already writing 3 pages every day. I'm in that habit. So fucking Monday, I write 3 pages of horse shit, of nothing. Or maybe I write 3 pages of jokes, and I'm really happy. And then on Tuesday, something awful happens, but I know I'm writing 3 pages. And that helps. And I write 3 pages, whether the day is good, whether the day is boring, whether the day is bad, and it helps. And it's like it's like self-defense, and it's like it really helps. And I had a little motto that I don't think I've ever spoken about this, but I have a motto that I told myself and this is why I want to write a book about this stuff, because I feel like, you know, this is, you know, again, this goes back to like, I wouldn't choose to go through it again, but fuck, I've learned a lot from doing it. And it has made me like able to help other people through awful stuff. When I decided to give up on everything other than becoming well, I kind of look at my dream, right, as like a fire, like this fire burning in my soul. Like it's not even my fire. It came from somewhere else, and it was put in me, right? Whether that's God or whatever you think that is, it comes like when I write something that's truly great, I feel like I'm grabbing something from another universe and trying my best to translate it and put it out. That's what I feel like when I write, right? And this goes for even just dumb jokes or whatever I write in my book, or when I'm drawing or when I'm creating something. I feel like I'm grabbing it from another dimension and poorly translating it to reality, right? That's how I feel. And I feel like my dream is like my fire. And I feel like we all have fire, right? And fire needs fuel. So for me, I do comedy, right? And if I don't do things with my life, there's no fuel. If I don't leave my house, there's no fuel. So when I was sick, you know, nothing much was funny because I wasn't doing much, you know? And especially when I was sick and it was during lockdown and I couldn't leave my house and everyone was fucking sad, there wasn't much funny about that, right? If you go and listen to my podcast, there's, you know, the episodes are short. I'm not very happy. Because I'm not doing much, because I wasn't physically able to do much. There wasn't much fuel for my fire, right? Now that I'm healthy, right? You notice most of the episodes, they're long, but not in a shit way. Like, they're good, and I'm not trying to make them long. They just are, because I've got a lot of fuel. So I'm doing a lot of stuff. My mind works. I'm looking at a lot of stuff. I'm putting things in. I'm reading. I'm doing. I'm living. I'm going to the dentist and having a horrible time and telling you about that because it's funny. It's fuel for my fire, which is my dream. And everyone has a fire, and it's a different type of fire for everyone. Some people want to be an athlete. Some people want to be a pro basketballer. Some people want to be an artist. Some people want to help people. Some people want to be a priest or a fucking scam artist. Everyone has a fire, and a fire needs fuel. And writing every day helped me realize that there was no fuel or there was hardly any fuel. And if I kept trying to turn my fire, my soul, into this massive bonfire that it kind of is now, where I'm creating so much stuff and I'm so inspired, I'm touring, I'm making videos, I'm doing podcasts, I'm writing my emails, I'm thinking about writing a fucking book, man. Like, my fire feels like a bonfire right now because I'm putting the correct amount of fuel on it because I have access to that fuel. But when I was ill, when I had gone through all of this stuff, you know, that I haven't really spoken about, grief and all this shit, I didn't have much fuel. And every time I tried to turn it into a bonfire, I ran the risk of my entire fire disappearing. You know, what happens when you don't put wood in a fire? It goes down into little coals. What happens when you have so little fuel that all you have is coals, and then you just start grabbing logs and throwing it onto the fire? You extinguish the entire fire, and now you got to start again from scratch, and that's hard. So I looked at my dream, and I still do, as like this fire in my soul that I'm tending to, that I'm fueling. And I think everybody's like this. And when I wasn't able to fuel my fire because I was sick and I had gone through these things, every time I tried to ramp it up and do what I'm doing now, that I am well, that I've processed these things, I would kill my fire. And that would be so much more painful than having a small little fire. And that's kind of what I discovered when I was writing about what I was going through and what I was feeling and what I was thinking, is that I have this fire. And I realized that I really needed to protect this. And I really needed to protect myself so that I could keep my fire alive. And the big realization that I had was that if I was going to get through this, if I was going to survive this illness and this shit that happened with my fire intact, either I would have to burn my fire until there was no fuel left and I would really struggle to get it back at all, or I would have to intentionally ration my fuel and bring my fire down to a little, a smaller fire that required less fuel to ration the fuel that I did have, which wasn't much. And that's how I visualized it. Is I thought, okay, I don't have enough fuel to build the fire that I want, but I need a fire because that's the only thing that's going to keep me alive through this. Do you see is this making sense? I was the one that was fueling the fire, but the fire was keeping me alive, and I didn't have much fuel, so I had to intentionally bring it down to a small little, just some coals to keep it alive, to keep me alive, right? I had to stop my dream so that I could keep my dream, so that it could get me through my troubles. And I visualized this. I even drew it in a notebook one day. It's in this chest here. One of these notebooks has this little drawing. And I tried to envision myself as this protector of my own fire, the guardian of my own fire. And I'm still this. And the fire's much bigger now, but that's because I have the fuel to keep it big and to maintain it. So that I don't, what's the word? Burn out. And I still write this. I would imagine myself as a protector of my fire, and I thought one day, and I think it was even one of the exercises in the Artist's Way book, where I actually visualized a suit of armor for myself that I would wear to protect my own fire. And I, like every man going through it, was reading Berserk at the time, and he's got this fucking sick black suit of armor that he wears. And he puts it on when he really protects people that he loves, right? And I would write this every day. And I still write this almost every day. I write, encased in black armor, no evil shall dull my flame. And what I mean by that is I'm not going to let illness and sadness and trauma and shit dull my flame, because it's my flame. I will protect my flame. And part of protecting your flame is giving it the appropriate amount of fuel and having an understanding of how much fuel you have to burn at all to keep a sustainable fire. And when you're sick, when you're going through it, when you've experienced something awful, for a little bit or for a long while, like me, or even longer for other people that, you know, have it even worse, maybe you don't have much fuel. And as the protector of your fire, sometimes you got to bring that fucking bonfire that you want it to be down to just coals to protect it, to keep it alive, because that's your dream and that's your fire and it's your responsibility to protect. And that's how I viewed it. And still now that things are going well, you know, I still think of myself as the protector of my own flame. Encased in black armor, no evil shall dull my flame. That's what you need to do, is you got to look at your fuel and you got to allocate accordingly. And when you're sick, you don't have much fuel. And if you push past that, you're going to run out of fuel and your fire will die. And that's going to hurt you so much more than having a small little fire for as long as it takes to become well or to overcome whatever you're going through. Does that make sense? Encased in black armor, no evil shall dull my flame. That's my advice to you. What have we got here? We probably got. Do we have time for another email? How long will we be going for? Oh, an hour 30. What the heck? That's probably going to do it. I'll do this email next episode. If you would like more podcasts, we're going to continue right now on Patreon. I have a story about the pool that I don't want the world to know. So I'm doing that on Patreon. Thank you so much. I hope that was helpful to you. Protect your flame, and I will talk to you next Sunday. I hope you have a shit one. Bye. Hey, before we get into it, the Melbourne Comedy Festival starts this month. I've got a bunch of shows in Melbourne, loosbeers.com. Come and see me. I also have shows in Brisbane. I think the first one sold out. We've added a second show. Sydney is almost full. We've got a few other dates as well. Loosbeers.com. We're announcing a UK tour very soon. Loosbeers.com/gig list to put your email and your city in there, and I will send you a message when I'm on the way. Enjoy the show. Loosbeers.com. See you in Melbourne this month.